Good afternoon, guys. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Shall we start? Only 8 participants are there. Please inform others also to join the session. Can anyone tell me what we have discussed in the last class? Yes. Have you understood switch level modeling? Only 12 participants are there. In the last class, we have seen how to draw the CMOS diagram for different kinds of gates. Yes or no? Are you able to hear me? Hello, guys, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So in the last class, we have started switch level modeling, and we have also drawn the CMOS diagrams for different kinds of gates. In the last class, I think we have drawn the CMOS styles of gates for NOT, NAND as well as NOR. Any doubts in that? Three concepts which we have seen. If you are perfect with that particular CMOS diagrams, directly we shall write the Verilog code for that particular CMOS gates. See, coming to switch level modeling, Verilog provides various constructs to model switch level circuits. So digital circuits at MOS transistor level are described using these elements. What is meant by MOS?
Metal oxide semiconductor transistor.
Metal oxide semiconductor. And how many categories are there in that internally?
CMOS.
Do you know about these two concepts, depletion and enhancement? Yes.
Yes, sir. Without channel enhancement, with the channel depletion.
Yes, with channel it is called as depletion and without channel is called as enhancement. And again further they are classified into N and P. Done. Next, MOS switches. So two types of MOS switches can be defined with the keyword called as NMOS as well as PMOS. So the keyword for NMOS is NMOS and for PMOS it is PMOS. Done. So this is a symbol for NMOS and PMOS which we have already seen. And now can anyone tell me what are the terminals for this particular MOS? How many terminals will be there?
Gate drain source.
Okay, among this, can you tell me? Here I've taken some concept called as data, output and control. Among this, which one is source, which one is drain and which one is gate?
Gate is control.
Out is drain. Out is drain.
Okay.
Data is source.
Source.
Data is source. So remember this concept. So data is nothing but source, which is input, and output is nothing but drain. And by using gate, we will try to control whether it can be in on state or off state. Simultaneously, this is the same concept for PMOS also, but here it should be represented by means of a bubble. And also we have seen the on and off conditions. Can anyone tell me the overview? On and off conditions for NMOS and PMOS.
For PMOS, if drain is 0,
Drain or gate?
gate is 0, then output is VDD.
Gate is 0, then output is VDD. Okay.
Vice versa for NMOS.
What is this VDD?
5 volts. Supply voltage.
And I've also told you one concept for PMOS. So what is that particular node? I think I've told you some node.
If bubble is there, input is 0.
Okay. And for PMOS, source should be connected to ground or supply? For PMOS.
VDD. Supply.
Source should be connected to the ground.
Source.
This is called as source. This is gate. This is drain. For PMOS, source should be connected to supply. And for NMOS?
For NMOS, source should be connected to ground.
Ground.
Connected to ground. And simple concept for NMOS, if gate is equal to 1, it is on. For PMOS, if it is 0, it is on. So what is another name for on? Should I call it as short circuit or open circuit?
Short circuit.
Short circuit.
On means short, off means open. Done. And this is the way of writing the syntax for this. So NMOS, so write the keyword NMOS, some random name, followed by outputs and input. So here this is the syntax which you need to follow. First output, so out. Next input. Input is nothing but data, and after that it should be control. So simply this output is nothing but a drain, and data which is nothing but input. So here input is nothing but source, and control is nothing but gate. The same concept is applicable for PMOS also. So PMOS, instance name, output, input, followed by control signal. By the way, what are primitive gates? Primitive cells or primitive gates? Okay. Where are they present? In Verilog library. All they are present by default. That's the reason in gate level modeling directly we are writing like this, and some name followed by output comma input. Similarly, the switch levels are also present. I mean all these NMOS, PMOS and CMOS are also present in Verilog library, so that you can call them as primitive cells. So if all those cells are present in Verilog by default, you can give the instance name or else you may not give. Depending upon your requirement, you can go with this. See here. Here I have used the concept called as instance name. But here if you observe, I have not used the instance name. Why? Because these primitive cells are present by default in Verilog library. So it depends upon your opinion whether you can give the instance name or not. but my suggestion is better go with the instance name so that it will be very perfect for you in understanding. Next, similar to the truth table that we have seen for different kinds of basic gates, universal as well as exclusive gates, these are nothing but the truth tables for NMOS and PMOS. So can anyone explain me this particular thing for NMOS? Zooming the screen. Here, what is this data called as input or output?
Input.
Data is called as input. So input is source or drain?
Source.
Input is source. And here control is nothing but gate. Now, based on the on and off condition, can anyone try to explain me this? What is the on condition for NMOS? Input should be
1.
Input should be 1 so that it will act as short circuit. So you can take the example. So this is NMOS. Okay, here it is gate. This is source. This is drain. When this particular thing is 1, it will act as short circuit internally. So see here, when control signal is 1. So when control signal is 1, NMOS is on. If NMOS is on, the input will be given to the output. So this particular input will be given to the output. So what is the input? It is 0, 1, X and Z. So the same thing will appear at the output also. 0, 1, X and Z. I hope you know about the 0, 1, X and Z from the value sets that we have seen. How many value sets are there?
4.
Okay. 0, 1, X and Z. What is this X and what is Z?
X is don't care, Z is high impedance state.
Okay. So high impedance state is also called as
Floating point.
floating point. The same concept we will understand while discussing the CMOS diagrams. Okay, so when control signal is 1, the output is same as input. Suppose when input is equal to 0, that is when gate is equal to 0, this particular NMOS is in off state. So off state means simply it is going to Z, which is nothing but high impedance value. Next, X is nothing but don't care, which is also called as unknown value. So in unknown value, we know that 0 is called as logic high or logic low. How should I call logic 0 as?
Logic
Zero.
low.
Logic low or logic, this is called as logic high. Okay, the same concept is applicable here when input is unknown, which is X. So here output can be low, which is nothing but 0, high, which is nothing but 1, followed by for X and Z, you'll get the same thing, and the vice versa for Z. The same concept for PMOS also. What is the on condition? Let me call a rule number. Rule number 315. What is the on condition for PMOS?
PMOS, it's 0, sir.
Okay, when it is 0, on, when it is 1, it is off. Okay, now you observe the truth table. When control signal is 0, it is on. If it is on means output will be same as input. So here input that I'm giving is 0, 1, X and Z. So in this part you'll get the same input 0, 1, X and Z. And if it is 1, it is off state. So off is nothing but high impedance state. So that's why all Z. Next, when it is X, X is nothing but unknown value. So if it is unknown, simply 0 is nothing but low and 1 is nothing but high. Okay, low and high followed by X and Z. So mainly concentrate only on 0 and 1. So this is about the way of instantiating NMOS and PMOS. Next, do you have any idea on this transmission gates? See here, this particular diagram is called as transmission gate, which contains both NMOS and PMOS. So among this, which one is NMOS and which one is PMOS? By observing this diagram, can anyone tell me?
Down one is NMOS, up one is PMOS.
This is called as NMOS. This is called as PMOS. Now you are perfect with on and off conditions. So better what I'm doing is, first I'll take data is equal to 1 and you take some control. Two controls are there if you observe. One is N control and the next one is P control. So make a note that they are complement to each another. Means if N control is 1, P control will be 0. If this is 0, this will be 1. Now what I'm doing is I'm taking N control is equal to 1. Now based on this, can anyone tell me the on and off conditions and what will be the output? When N control is 1, NMOS is on or off?
On.
On or off?
On.
This is on. If this is on, PMOS will be
Off.
Off.
off. So off means short circuit or open circuit?
Open circuit.
Open circuit.
This is open circuit. This is short circuit. Then what will be the output?
Data.
Output is called as data. You can go with the vice versa concept also. So here you can take n control is equal to 0, so that this will be 1. So now n control is 0. So on or off?
Off.
Is off. P control will be 1. So PMOS will be
On.
on or off? Wrong.
Off.
On.
Is off. If both are off, should I what is the name that I need to give for this? Both are off.
High impedance.
So this is the concept where you need to remember this is called as high impedance, which is nothing but floating. Okay, it is called as high impedance. Floating state means both are off. So the concept is if one is on, another will be off. Suppose if this will be off, this will be on. And one more case can be both can be on or else both can be off. So once if you are familiar with NMOS on and off conditions, directly you can try to understand this one. Okay, so CMOS is declared with a keyword called as CMOS. So similarly, the keyword for NMOS is NMOS, for PMOS it is PMOS, and for CMOS it should be written as CMOS. Now can anyone tell me how to write the syntax for this? Syntax by observing that particular diagram. So CMOS, some random name, I'm giving some N1. So first you need to take output. So which one should I take as output? This is out. Next, input. What is input? It is data. Next you need to take N control. After that you need to take P control. Remember this concept. Output is called as drain. Data which is called as input. So it is source. And this is the gate terminal for PMOS. And this is the gate terminal for NMOS. So this is the syntax. I hope you have understood the on and off conditions. Still any doubts with that particular thing? Yes, anyone? Still any queries with on and off conditions? So the next concept is bidirectional switch. So we know that PN diode is bidirectional or unidirectional.
Unidirectional.
This is unidirectional. Now let us see what is meant by bidirectional. Bidirectional means it can conduct either from left to right or else from right to left. So this is a diagram for bidirectional switch. See here, we are calling it as transistor. You can call simply. Okay, this is called as tran. Here you can give one input, so input 1. Here you can give another input. So depending upon the condition and the control signal, it will try to conduct. Now again, this tran is classified into two types. It is called as tran if 0, tran if 1. Similar to the concept that we have seen for buffer and a NOT gate. So buffer is internally classified into two types, which is buff if 0. Okay, buff if 0 followed by buff if 1. So here the 0 and 1 are simply called as control signals. Okay, suppose if there is a bubble, should I call it as tran if 0 or tran if 1?
Tran if 0.
It is called as tran if 0. Suppose if directly I'm connecting, it is called as tran if 1. So meaning that this will conduct only when control signal is 0 or 1. For tran if 0, it is 0. This will conduct when control signal is equal to 1. So NMOS, PMOS and CMOS gates conduct from drain to source. So I hope you know the working of all those JFETs followed by enhancement and depletion also. So if I take some random example like some N-type material and here P-type materials are formed with the concept of diffusion. And here I'm calling it as source. This one as drain and I've connected this to which is called as gate. Now internally, will the electrons move from source to drain or drain to source?
Source to drain.
Correct. Electrons will move from source to drain. If electrons are moving from source to drain, then what about the current?
Drain to source.
It will move from drain to source. Remember this concept. So there's a concept called as conventional current. Always when electrons are moving from left to right, conventional current will move from right to left. You need to remember this conventional current followed by natural current. Then what is natural current? Natural current means it will follow the same as the direction of electrons only. So natural current will flow from left to right, whereas conventional current will flow in opposite direction. Why? Because here it is because of holes. I think you have learned all these concepts in EDC. So holes followed by electrons will be there. Okay. So if you are taking current because of positive carriers, it is called as conventional current. If it is because of electrons, it is called as natural current. So this is about the bidirectional switch. Next, there are three keywords are there: tran is 0, and tran if 1. So tran if 0 means here the control signal should be 0. Tran if 1 means the control signal should be 1. Okay, the same on and off conditions I have mentioned it here. Now you try to understand this particular syntax. So if I want to write the condition for tran, so tran output followed by input. So here no outputs and inputs are there. So bidirectionally you are applying. So directly you can write it like this: in out 1 followed by in out 2. If you want, you can give the instant name also. Next, if I want to write for tran if 0, so here input 1, input 2 followed by control signal. If I want to write for tran if 1, first in out 1, in out 2 followed by control signal. Okay. Next, can anyone explain me the concept of what is ideal and what is the practical circuits? In diodes, I think you have learned this: ideal diode and practical diode.
No
What is ideal
losses.
diode? Okay, no losses means
No losses. Ideal.
Loss, hysteresis loss will not be there.
ideal. And
All
practical?
values of temperature it will conduct.
Okay, then what about practical? Simply remember like this: in practical circuits, there will be some resistance. Okay, means it will resist the flow of current. Whereas in ideal, there is no concept of resistance. So that's the reason if you take any kind of a diode, whether it can be silicon or else germanium, directly when you apply some amount of voltage, it will try to conduct. So if you're applying some positive voltage, it will be on, or else if some negative value means it will be off. Whereas if you go for practical diodes, so what is the practical cut-in voltage for silicon?
0.7.
It is 0.7. For germanium, 0.3.
Z3.
So that's the reason you'll get different kinds of equivalent circuits like piecewise linear model, constant voltage drop model. So this is called as practical circuits, means internally they will offer some amount of resistance. So when the voltage that you are applying across the diode, suppose if this is the diode and if this is the amount of voltage that you are applying across this diode, if the applied voltage is greater than this particular value, it will try to conduct. Conduct means on, or else it will be off. Again, there are different ways in order to represent that particular equivalent diagrams. See, like this it will be. I think you have learned all these concepts. So positive, this will be negative. This is called as VD. So because of VD, there will be a flow of current called as ID. And this is nothing but barrier voltage 0.7 and will have some resistance. I think you know all this. VB is equal to KT by Q into ln of Na and D by Na square. I hope you remember all this. Barrier voltage. K is called as Boltzmann constant. T is nothing but temperature. Q is charge. Na stands for acceptor concentration. Nd stands for donor. And Ni means intrinsic. Okay, if you want to understand the concept in depth, be perfect with all the physics concepts followed by your EDC, so that you can understand all these diagrams very easily. Okay, now let us see power and ground concepts. So only two concepts we know, that supply is VDD and next one is nothing but ground. So should I represent VDD with supply 1 or supply 0?
Supply 1.
So this should be represented with supply 1. Ground can be represented as supply 0. The same concept. So another name is VDD is nothing but 5 volt, ground is nothing but 0 volt, or else 5 volt is nothing but logic 1, this is nothing but logic 0. Please make a note of this so that it will be useful for you to understand. Okay, the power, which is nothing but VDD, logic 1, ground is nothing but VSS, which is logic 0. So sources are needed when transistor level circuits are designed. So transistor level circuits are nothing but, in the previous class we have drawn the CMOS implementation of all the gates. Those are called transistor level circuits. Okay, so power is represented with supply 1. Similarly, ground is represented with supply 0. And this is the way of declaring it. Supply 0 is called as ground, supply 1 is called as VDD. And you can assign different values for it also, like assign A is equal to VDD, assign B is equal to ground. So we shall understand in depth about this particular code snippet while trying to write the Verilog code in switch level modeling for different kinds of gates. Okay, now see the concept here called as resistive switches. So in the above concepts, we have seen CMOS switches, right? We have seen CMOS switches which contains NMOS and PMOS, and also we have seen bidirectional switches. So now by observing those, can you tell me whether they are practical or ideal?
Ideal.
They're called as ideal. Means they will not offer any kinds of resistance, but here they will offer some amount of resistance. So MOS, complementary metal oxide semiconductor and bidirectional switches discussed before can be modeled as corresponding resistive devices. So resistive switches have higher source to drain impedance. What is meant by impedance and what is meant by resistance?
Resistance in DC, impedance in AC.
Correct. Resistance in DC, impedance is nothing but AC. So you know this, Z is equal to V by I. Here R is equal to P by I. So resistive switches have higher source to drain impedance than regular switches and reduce the strength of the signal passing through it. We already know from Ohm's law it is nothing but V is equal to I into R, R is equal to V by I. If resistance is more, current will be less. If resistance is less, current is more. So by using the simple relation, you can understand this particular line. Next, resistive keywords. So resistive switches are declared with a keyword. Simply you need to prefix R before that. Suppose if it is NMOS, simply write R NMOS. Suppose if it is PMOS, add a prefix called as R. If it is CMOS, add a prefix called as R, meaning that they are resistive switches. Simply we have seen the tran if 0 and tran if 1 also. Tran if 0 and tran if 1. So if you want to declare it as a resistive, better add a keyword called as R. Okay, so we have seen two types of switches. One is ideal and another one is practical, which is nothing but resistive in nature. Next, these are the driving strengths. So better simply try to go through this. And coming to delay specifications of switches, we have already seen different kinds of delays in gate level circuits, data flow and behavioral also. Can anyone tell me what are the delay that we have seen?
Regular delay.
Okay.
Zero delay. Intra-segmental delay.
Inter, and
Zero delay.
rise time, fall time, turn off. And again in this we have seen max, min and typical. Okay, what else? In coming to behavioral model, all this regular, intra and inter comes under which level of modeling? Regular, intra and inter. In data flow we have seen. Then what about behavioral? So you need to remember this is one of the important question. So in exam he will ask you to write the delays based on the different kinds of modeling. And what are the concepts that we have seen in behavioral model? Event based timing control, delay based timing control, level sensitive based timing control. Do you remember all those which comes under behavioral? Okay, the same concept is applicable for switches also. See here. So switches that we have seen is PMOS, NMOS, RPMOS and RNMOS. R stands for resistive. So it can have 0 delay, 1 value, 2 values and 3 values. So if no delay is mentioned, so what will be the value if no delay is mentioned means? Yes, no value of delay is mentioned. So what is the default value? Is it 0 or 100 or 200? What is the value?
0 nanoseconds.
It is 0 nanoseconds.
Zero.
So if only one value is mentioned, so by default for each and every transition, the delay will be 1 nanosecond. If two values are mentioned, the first value indicates rise time, second value indicates fall time. If three are mentioned, first is nothing but rise, second is nothing but fall, third one is called as turn off. How do we get this turn off value? Turn off delay. Turn off delay is nothing but the average of what?
Rise
Rise
and
time
fall.
plus fall.
Rise time and fall time by 2. So what is the rise time value? It is 1. And what is the fall time? It is 3 by 2. So 4 by 2, you'll get 2. Next, similarly for CMOS and RCMOS also, if one value is given, so for each and every transition, the delay will be this 5 nanoseconds. And if two values are mentioned, then one can be rise, another can be fall. So once if you are perfect with all the delay concepts of gate, data flow and behavioral, you can understand this same concepts here also. Next, similarly for bidirectional pass switches. So bidirectional is nothing but three concepts: tran if 0 and tran if 1. No, if no value is mentioned, then delay will be 0. So if one value for each and every transition, it will be this particular value. If it is two values, it will be turn on and turn off. So here it is completely a bit different. So in the previous concept that you have seen, if two values are mentioned, one will be rise time, another one will be fall time. But here in bidirectional pass switches, as it can conduct in both the directions, so if two values are mentioned, it should be called as turn on and turn off. Remember this. For bidirectional switches, we are calling it as turn on and turn off. Why? Because these switches can be conducted in both the directions. So that's the reason we should call it as turn on and turn off. So these are some basic syntax. Now see how to write the Verilog code using switch level modeling for this particular CMOS inverter, which is nothing but NOT gate. I think I have given some task for you to draw the CMOS level diagram for XOR. How many of you have tried this? Very important. You can expect this XOR for long also. How many of you have tried the CMOS level diagram, not the Verilog code? Only this particular CMOS level diagram I want. No one? Okay. So see here, NOT gate. So we know that NOT gate y is equal to a bar. So what is pull up and pull down? Yes. What is pull down? NMOS or PMOS?
Pull down is NMOS.
NMOS.
This is NMOS, this is PMOS. And here I'll take the output. And as it is inverter, it contains single input. That's the reason I'm joining these two gates. So here you can observe input, output. This is nothing but NMOS. This is called as PMOS. Okay. And remember those concepts. For NMOS, source should be connected to ground. And for PMOS, source should be connected to supply, which is nothing but VDD. Okay. So see here. Can anyone tell me source, drain and gates for this? Fast. What is this?
Drain.
Drain.
This is called as drain. Okay. What about this one?
Source.
This is source. This is gate. This will be also gate. This will be source. This will be drain. Now by seeing this, can anyone tell me how to write the code? So first thing is module. Module name, I'll take it as not underscore some CMOS. Module name. Next comes port list. So port list means output. Next input followed by VDD and ground. Next among this, output is nothing but out. Input is called as in. Now what about this VDD and ground? How should I declare them?
Wire.
No, not wires. Here concept is supply 1 and supply 0. Supply 1 is called as VDD and supply 0 is called as ground. Next. What are present here? NMOS and PMOS are there. So how should I write for PMOS first? So PMOS, some random name. I'll give the name for this as P1. P1. What is the syntax for PMOS?
Out.
Okay, out. Simply drain. After drain source. After source gate. Now you tell me. So are you able to see any kinds of wires here, or else directly can I write it as VDD?
Source can be written as VDD.
Source can be written as VDD. Okay, now you tell me for PMOS P1. So this is called as drain. What about source? Source is called as VDD.
In.
Okay, this is VDD. Next comes in. Correct. Next, what about NMOS? NMOS, I'll give it as P2. Now you tell me.
Ground.
Out.
Why ground?
Out.
Out.
Ground. In.
Out, ground, in. That's it. Correct. Next it comes end module. So this is a way of writing the code for switch level CMOS inverter. So simply remember one concept. First drain, after that source, after that gate. Okay. So if you observe the same code here. So here we have taken supply 1 as VDD, but he took it as power. So that's the reason he's writing as power. Any name you can give, or else directly you can go with this particular thing also. Now CMOS NOR gate. So we have already drawn this particular CMOS level diagram in the previous class. So y is equal to, what is the Boolean expression for NOR?
A plus B whole bar.
A plus B whole bar. And I've told you some concept. What is dot? What is plus?
Is series plus is parallel.
Plus stands for parallel, dot stands for series. So based on this, I've drawn. First, consider the term which is present below the bar. So A plus B. So that's the reason they are present in parallel. So vice versa, in the pull-up network, they will be present in series. So here comes PMOS. and here comes NMOS. Okay, now based on this, can anyone tell me the Verilog code? So all the initial declarations will be common. Better you tell me, I'll give the name for this. So this is P1, this is P2, this is N1, this is N2. Now you tell me for first PMOS, P1, what is the output? Check only for this particular P1. Make a note of drain, source and gate. So what is drain here for this P1?
C.
C is nothing but a wire. So, okay, next, what about source?
VDD.
VDD. Okay, next, what about gate?
Power.
See here.
Oh.
This particular line is connected to
B.
B.
B. Okay, next PMOS. Next P2. What is the drain for particular P2? This is P2. What is drain terminal?
Out.
Okay. What is source?
C.
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 What is gate?
A.
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 Okay, this is for PMOS. Next, similarly, you tell me for NMOS N1. What is drain? Drain.
Out.
Okay, out.
Out.
What is source?
Ground.
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 Next, gate?
A.
A.
A. That's it.
A.
Similarly, for NMOS N2, out.
Out.
Ground.
B.
Ground. B.
That's it.
B.
Next comes end module. So this is very simple. So the important concept is you should be in a position to draw this particular CMOS level diagram. Okay, so once if you are able to write this, and if you know this particular terminology, then easily you can write this. So can anyone try it for CMOS NAND gate now? CMOS NAND gate. Or else before that, I will tell you how to draw the CMOS level diagram for XOR. So what is the Boolean expression for XOR? Y is equal to
A bar B
RP
plus
plus
A
AB
B.
bar.
A bar dot B
A
bar
B
plus
bar plus A bar B. Okay. Now, what is the first step? So we have drawn for y is equal to a bar. We have drawn for y is equal to a dot b whole bar and y is equal to a plus b whole bar. What is the difference among first one, second one, third one and fourth one? For
There
which
is
one I
bar
can't?
for whole term. Here there is bar for only one term. Only one.
So first step is we need to have a whole bar. So if whole bar is not present, we can't draw the CMOS level diagram. Okay. So that's the reason. So first I will try to convert this particular thing to whole bar. First I want whole bar. So what should I do? So y is equal to
Add double bar.
add double bar a bar b. So 2 times here I'm adding bar and here also 2 times I'm adding bar. Now according to De Morgan's theorem, a plus b whole bar can be written as
A bar
Dot B bar.
A
now
bar
based on
dot
this you
B
tell me
bar.
you take this only this term. Based on this you tell me a plus b whole bar means a bar dot b bar. Next now you tell me what should I do? Again a
We
dot
should
b
again
whole
do
bar,
A dot B bar.
a bar plus b bar. So I'm putting whole bar as it is. So a dot b whole bar is written as a bar plus b bar whole bar. Next here also a bar plus b bar. So double bar means they will get cancelled. So whole bar is present as it is. So a bar plus b and this is nothing but a plus b bar. Is it enough or else any more modification should I do?
A dot B whole bar.
No need of going for any further kind of minimization. Why? Because first I have to convert this into the concept like this. Whole bar should be present. See here whole bar is present. Okay, now simply go with the concept called as dot and plus. So dot is called as series, plus is called as parallel. Now based on this, can anyone draw the diagram? A bar plus B. So A bar plus B means series or parallel? This is parallel. This one is also parallel. These two parallel modules should be connected in series. Okay. Let me draw it here. So what is the expression that we got? Y is equal to A bar plus B dot A plus B bar. A plus B bar whole bar. Okay, so better in order to make you understand, I'm drawing it like this. I'll take two separate boxes like this. So this is first box and this is another box. Okay, better I'm calling this as block 1, this one as block 2. Okay, in coming to block 1, how they are present in parallel or series?
Parallel.
Plus means
Parallel.
parallel. So this is called as block 1. So here I'm drawing them in parallel. So parallel. Okay, I've drawn them parallel. Next, coming to block 2.
Parallel.
Again, they are also present in parallel. Next. So I'm done with pull up or pull down.
Pull down.
Pull down network. That's the reason I've drawn NMOS. Now this is block 1. This is block 2. They're present in series or parallel. See here, dot means
Series.
so I'm joining them as they're present in series. And here this is nothing but ground. Okay, here I'll get one terminal. Now coming to pull up network contains
Inverse of
PMOS. So those two blocks will be present in parallel or series.
parallel.
They will be present in parallel. Okay, this is now block 1. This is block 2. Now come to internal of block 1. Internal block 1 is present in parallel or series.
Series.
So here they should be in series. Next, block 2 internally parallel. So here they should be in
Series.
series. That's it. Simply you try to join these two and these two, this should be connected here. So here it will be VDD and here you have to take the output, which is nothing but Y. Okay, but if you observe a concept here, there is A bar. So for A bar, you need to draw CMOS inverter. So CMOS inverter means it will look something like this. We have already drawn this. NMOS and PMOS. This is called as ground. This is called as VDD. This is separate diagram. Okay, don't get confused. So here it is A. Here it will be A bar. Okay, then try to connect the wires as it is. So here I should get A bar. So I'm connecting here A bar and this will be B. Similarly, here it should be A and here it should be B bar. Again, to get B bar, one more CMOS inverter should be used. Yes or no? Hello?
Yes, sir.
So here if you observe A bar is there and B bar is also there. So how will I get A bar? I have to draw CMOS inverter, right? So CMOS inverter means this particular diagram. See this particular diagram I'm drawing for A bar. So simple thing is, see, better I'll do it here itself. So here you have to take it as A so that this will be A bar. Okay, similarly I want B bar also. So in order to get B bar, one more CMOS inverter is needed. So here give input as B so that I'll get B bar. First separately you have to draw these two circuits. So this one is to generate A bar and this one is to generate B bar. So internally once if this is done, then you can come to this particular diagram. Now I want B bar kada. So what I'll do is I'll go with another CMOS inverter. Draw this particular diagram separately. Don't get confused. So here this is ground. This is called as VDD. If input is B, I'll get output as B bar. So here I want B bar. So I'll connect it here directly. Okay. Now similarly, so here if it is this is A bar and this is B, here it is A and A bar. So for block 1 this becomes A bar, this becomes B. Similarly here it becomes A, this becomes B bar. So, similarly try to join. So A bar is again connected here. And what about B bar? So this is B bar, so this B bar should be connected here. So this is how you have to draw. Simply try to assume that there are two blocks. This is block number 1 and this is block number 2. So in pull down network as dot is present, they should be connected in series. Whereas in case of above network, they should be in parallel. Again, go to the internal diagram. So internally they are present in parallel. That's the reason they are present in series here. Okay. Clear with this? Once you try to draw it, if you are getting any more queries, please let me know so that once again I'll try to explain this. Okay. So the simple concept is whole bar should be there. For any diagram that you are trying to implement in CMOS, whole bar should be there. So similarly, you try to implement for AND or followed by, you can draw this for half adder, you can draw this for full adder also. If you're interested, you can try all this. But for the subject point of view, simply NAND, NOR, XOR, and NOT. These 4 are enough. If you are interested, you try to implement for this 4 also so that you'll get more amount of knowledge. Now, similarly, 2:1 mux using switches. Okay, so let us in the next class I'll try to explain this. So before that, Jyotika will give us the presentation on encoder concepts. So Jyotika, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So better you can share the screen, Jyotika. I've made you the presenter.
Okay, sir.
If time permits, Karthik, you also be ready with carry looker data.
Sir, can you see my screen?
Yeah, it's visible.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today I'll be explaining about encoders and what are the type of encoders and how we can implement them using Xilinx software where we write the Verilog codes for it. So what is an encoder? First, let's understand what is an encoder. Encoder is a combinational circuit where we given two n inputs and we get n output signals. It is also called as a binary encoder because mostly when we given the inputs, we get binary outputs for them. Now we have two types of binary encoders, which are 4:2 encoder and 8:3 encoder. 4:2 is where we given 4 inputs and get 2 output lines. Here is the block diagram and this is the truth table. And this is the Boolean expression for it. Now, when we, according to the Boolean expression, we have made the logic diagram here. And to satisfy this, we'll be writing codes in different styles, which are gate level modeling, data flow modeling, and behavioral modeling. So implementing these in the Verilog code, let's take this one. Here, when we open the Xilinx tool, first we go to File and select a new project. We give it a name, let's say now we have to add the source. So we go to we right click on the hierarchy of encode the name which we have given and we go to new source. Here we are writing the Verilog models in Verilog code, so we have to select Verilog module and give a file name. Here we can paste or we can also write our code. Let's check if the code is right or not. Okay, we have some errors here. Okay, our code is fine. So
Jyotika,
we
you
go
explain
to
like
yes, sir.
what you did exactly, line by line.
Okay, so first we have given the module, and here is the name of our like module name, which is n_422, and here we are declaring the port list, and we have the inputs y0 to y3 here, so we declare them, and the outputs which we are taking is a0 and a1. So we declare the outputs too. Then the outputs in behavioral model are specified as registers, so we have to specify that too. So like register a0 and a1, and then always at the rate y2 or y3 is when like for in this statement we have the output for we have y3 or y2. for where we get the output A1. So if there are like any changes, when there is a change in Y2 or Y3, the code has to detect it. So we give this statement here. If Y2 or Y3 has any changes, so it has to detect. So we have given this, and likewise same in A0 too. And then we end the module here. After writing the whole code, we synthesize it to check if there are any errors. And in this code, we have no errors. So we'll go to the schematic view, which is seeing how our output is. We click on view RTL schematic and then the top level block. Here is our output. If we double click, this is the top view, which is like the encoder. And when we double click on it, we see the insides where we have an OR gate for Y1 and Y3. And the same Y3 goes to the second OR gate where we have input Y2 too. And we get the outputs A0 and A1. Sir, should I write the test bench also?
If it is ready, better simply simulate it.
Okay, sir.
Or else better go with the next concepts. So
Okay,
confirm with others whether they are okay with this.
Is everyone did everyone understand? Is there any doubts? No.
Guys, please try to respond. Why? Because I'll give chance for
No,
everyone
sir.
also to give the presentation also.
It's clear.
No, it's clear.
Okay,
Done.
thank you. This is the test bench where we test our code and see the wavelengths of how it is going 1 and zeros. And next we go to 8:3 binary encoder where we have 8 input lines and 3 output lines. It is also called as octal to binary encoder. Here we have Y0 to Y7 input lines and A to A1 A0 as outputs. The expressions, the Boolean expression is as follows, this one. And then to satisfy this, we have drawn the logic diagram here. And these are the gate level modeling, Dataflow modeling, and behavioral modeling Verilog codes. So gate level modeling, we first give the module and we specify the module name, we give it a name. And likewise, port file. And then we specify what the outputs and inputs will be. And then we specify the gate which we want, because it has in the Verilog has a library which has these keywords like for the gates. So we give OR and we give an instantaneous name, and we give the outputs and inputs for which we have to implement the OR gate at. So first we give the output, and here are the inputs for the OR gate and the output. Likewise for this the other expressions too, and then we end the module. Here in Dataflow modeling, we same like that, we give the module and the port file, and we assign the outputs and inputs, and then we assign with the symbols what we have to do. Like for OR, we have the vertical pole and we assign it likewise. Next we come to behavioral modeling. Let's implement this in the Xilinx. We go to the new project and we specify this. Okay, we have a new file here, and we give in the source code. Because we have a Verilog mod, we are giving the Verilog code, so we specify that. Here is oh wait, not 100. If we don't change the name here, what we have given to the file name, then it will show an error. So the file name that we gave here is behave _823. now
Why we
we
get error?
sir.
Why we get error?
So because the file name here we have given the file name something else, and in that code which I just copied and pasted, in that the file name was different, so it has problem in executing it.
Okay.
It gets confused. So here we save our code first, and then we check for errors. Okay, we have no errors. And now we'll check for the output. Here is our output, and the insides of it are the 3 OR gates, which have 8 input lines, but differently. And the outputs are here.
Jyotika, I'll tell you one concept in order
Yes,
to take this particular printout of this. So
yes,
click on file.
Yes, sir.
Click on file, next print preview. So here while doing your lab sessions, so after implementing each and every code, you need to paste this particular thing in your left side of your record sheet. Okay, so while you're trying to write the Verilog code, you better take the schematic as well as technology schematic and is all the internals also. Simply if you click on print, you can take this as a PDF file, or else you can take it as an image file also. Okay, so after writing each and every code, you better store it in somewhere else in your folder.
Yes.
Okay, that's it.
Yes.
Continue.
Next we have is decimal to BCD code. This is the test bench for the 8 to 3 binary code, binary encoder, and here we have decimal to BCD encoder. In this we have 10 input lines and 4 output lines. The 10 input lines stand for the 0 to 9 numbers which we have, and we get the binary inputs for them. I mean outputs for them. This is the block diagram. We have taken Y0 to Y9 as the inputs and A0 to A3 as the outputs. This is the Boolean expression which satisfies the truth table, and here is the logic diagram. So the gate level modeling and data flow modeling, here are the Verilog codes, and next we have our behavioral modeling code. Sometimes we can get an error if we specify all the inputs together while giving the always statement. Yesterday it's my own experience, I gave all the y9 to y1 together in the same statement, and I got an error. So we have the statement which we are giving here, like A3, the output which we want, which is A3, we have to specify only those inputs here which will be varying in the always statement.
I thought of asking the same query. That's the reason you have to experiment so that you will understand the subject.
Yes.
Good. Next.
That's all. Sir, should I implement this too?
Ask your friends. I have
Does
understood.
anyone?
Yeah, it's clear.
Is it fine? Does anyone want a test bench
No.
explanation?
It's fine.
Jyotika, by the way, after
Yes,
executing, you better make a PDFs of all those schematics and as well as the technology diagrams.
Okay,
So
sir.
that it will be easy
Yes.
to put it in your records also.
Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
Then, anything else you want to?
No, sir. That's it.
Done.
Thank you.
Abhiram, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you can share your screen.
1 second, sir.
Abhiram is executing all the comparator codes using different styles. He's trying to implement it using generate loop also.
Okay. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay. Comparator. So what is a comparator? Something that can just compare two signals. So we have three outputs equal to, greater than, or less than. Here we can say that less than is like not equal or greater than also. So the first one bit comparator. You have to take the truth table here on the right side. On the left side we have the K-map for equal, for greater than, and on for equal to, and based on that we can write this code here. And so these are the gates we need when we are actually implementing it. So I've made a video here to see how it actually works when you give the different signals. So this is when is A greater than B. So we have all these gates, it goes through there and we get the output like that. So next, here is the code in the Xilinx. So we're starting off with the module name and all the parameters that we're going to use. Then we'll define the inputs and the outputs. Then just like before, we are just going to pass them through the gates that we are going to use. And then we'll get the output. On the right side, we have the RTL schematic. And this is the output that we'll get. Don't worry about the dot after 0. That is just me typing dot instead of comma. So next time, what you have to keep in mind is that when we're checking through the bits, we have to check from the most significant bit to the least significant bit. So when we have a greater than condition as true when it at a higher bit, then we have to ignore all of the lower bits. So this is the truth table for the 2-bit, and its K-map for greater than B. And here's the one for the equal to B. So I tried to kind of condense it down, and then we got the equation as like one part was x nor b and the other part was x or b, but x nor b is the one that we want for equal to, because the output of x nor will be 1 when it is 1 1 or 0 0, and it's the opposite for x nor, where they have to be opposite. So I just removed it, ignored it, and I got my equation. So the gates we need for this thing and the working for it. So all of them are 0 right now, so equal. Then A is 2, B is 0. Now both are 2. A is 3, B is 2, both are 3. And we get the output like that. And now the other way around, so that we get the lesser than condition as true as well. Next, we have the code for the thing. Same thing as before, but this is all in gate level modeling, I think it's called. So later on, we'll upgrade it to Dataflow or the other one. So is this code understandable to you? Is this okay? Or is there some confusion? No? Yeah?
Guys, please respond.
It's fine. It's
What is
fine.
1
fine.
bit, what is 2 bit, and what is 4 bit? Can anyone explain? He will explain 1 bit, 2 bit, 4 and 8 bit also. So first, can anyone tell me what is this 1 bit, 2 bit comparison? Yes, anyone? What is 1 bit comparison? What is 2 bit comparison? Okay, Abhiram, you try to explain them, like what is meant by 1 bit, 2 bit, 4 bit, and 8 bit.
Okay, 1 bit is just, we have 1 bit which is 0 or 1. So for signal A, it can be 0 or 1. Signal B, it can be 0 or 1. 2 bit, same thing, but it can go from 0 to 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, and 1, 1. So 0 to 3. And 4 bit, again, same thing. And so moving on, the code for this is actually wrong. We'll see the output here. Because like I said before, when you get a greater than condition as true in the higher bit, you have to ignore all of the lower bits. So I didn't include that logic here in this code. So I'll get the wrong answer here, or I'll highlight it. Hopefully you can see it, probably not, but moving on. So to fix that code, I have to add this XNOR wire here at the end in line 9. So to explain this, we'll go to the next slide. So here you can see the signals A, B, and the higher bit is A3, and then the lower is A2, another lower is A1, and the least one is A0. So when we get that, so here we're first passing them through the XNOR gate. How do I draw? I don't know. So first we are passing through the XNOR gate, which gives equal to or not equal to signal. So in the first one, if we give the inputs as these, so 1 0, 1 1, 1 1, 0 1. So first one you can see that 1 and 0 are not the same. So the output of the XNOR gate will be 0. But 1 1 is same. Again at the end 0 1 is not the same. So the output be 0. So the green color is slightly darker. If it's 1, it is a lighter green. So now we have to take this output and send it down below to the AND gates. So what these AND gates do is that it will check if whichever bit is greater. So in the first one, we are sending A as 1 or A3 as 1 and B3 as 0. So here A1 should be the greater one, and that is what this AND gate will decide here. So because we have the greater than condition true here, the first most significant bit itself, A2, A1, A0, all should be ignored. So we're sending the 0 signal from the XNOR gate down to all other AND gates at the bottom. So only the top first one won't receive anything like this. So all the bottom one becomes 0, because in AND gate all of the input should be 1 so that the output can be 1. And here we have the output. So you can see, I'm sending A as 0, B as 0, we get equal to as 1. And here I'm sending A as 3, B as 1, greater than is 1. Next I'm sending A as 0, B as 3. So is A greater? No, it'll be lesser. So lesser is 1, and so on. On the 4-bit comparator, same thing as 2, but it'll just be bigger. And here is the output. Again, the 8-bit even bigger, but don't worry. We're using Dataflow, so it'll be compressed down. So let's see, what is this? 24 slides. Now it is only 7. So you don't have to write anything, just say is it equal to, is it greater than, is it less than, and it'll do everything itself. Here's the output. I've given some random inputs and I got the outputs. Next one, I have to do 8-bit comparator by using two 4-bit comparators. So here we are using something called instantiating. And so first I'm writing the 4-bit comparator. So this is the logic, same thing. I'm just using equal to, greater than, less than. It'll give me the output. Then I have to combine them both into the 8-bit. So in here in line 5 and 6 is where I'm calling those two 4-bit comparators. If you can see the name here, in the previous slide I'm writing module comp4b. That is the name of the 4-bit comparator, which I'm using here to call it. And I'm sending in the inputs A 7 to 4 and B 7 to 4, which is the higher 4 bits. And then I'm getting the output as X, Y, and Z. So what are the X, Y, and Z? In the previous slide, for the 4-bit comparator, we get the output as E, G, and L. So X, Y, Z will be in the same order. X is E, Y is G, and Z is L. So I take all of those inputs from the higher one and the lower one. For the equal to sign, I just have to check if the X, which is equal to from the 4-bit comparator, if the AND gate or if both of the signals are 1, then the output should be 1. So I'm using an AND gate in line 7. And for greater than signal, I have to check from the most significant to least significant. So I'm using this conditional statement where first I check the X1, which is where I'm sending the 7 to 4, the higher bits. And if the condition is 1, so if X1 is 1, which means that the higher bits are equal, then I'm checking whether then there's no difference in the higher bits. I have to check the lower bits, so which is 0. And Y is the output for greater than. So I'm checking if the lower bits A is greater or not. If it is, then the output is 1. If it's not, then it's 0. And if X1 is not equal to 0, then I'm going over to the false condition, which is y1 is equal to 1 or not. So I'm checking if the higher bits have a greater than symbol or not. So for the again for the lesser than symbol, I don't have to check for anything. I just have to see if E is 0 and G is 0. If they both are, then L is 1 for me. So this is the output, will be the same. Next up, 8-bit by 2 bits, and again using the same instantiation and the RTL circuit on the right side. So same thing, I'm using the same code here, only I'm sending 2-bit inputs and at line 3 instead of 4, and then I have to combine them together using the same exact logic, but instead I'm dividing 8 bits into 4. So I have to call them 4 times at line 5, 6, 7, and 8. Equal to sign remains the same, but the greater than sign I have to check for all of these 4 times. So I just write this big code to check each individual bit and to give me the output. Lesser than is the same again. And this is the output. And that's it. Thank you.
Confirm with others whether they have understood or not. This is one of the important question, guys. 8-bit comparator. In your internal also you can expect. Internal followed by your external also from unit number 1. And one more important question is that BCD adder.
Okay, done, sir.
Confirm with your friends whether they have understood.
Have you understood? Would you like to ask any questions?
Because you have explained it very easily, but they might feel it complex.
Maybe it'll be simpler when you try to do it. It's the same thing happened with me. I had to keep dealing with all the errors. I had to keep Googling it. And eventually I'll get there.
Can you see the screen?
Yes, sir.
So the simple concept is first you need to understand what is 1-bit, 2-bit, and 3-bit. I mean 4-bit. See here for 1-bit comparison means simply you are comparing 1 bit. So here suppose if A0 and B0 is there, so it can be 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, and 1, 1. Okay, here less than, equal to, and greater than. So better you know about this 1-bit comparison. See for 2-bit, 2-bit is nothing but A will have 2 bits. Similarly, B will have 2 bits. That is B1 and B0. A is nothing but A1 and A0. Okay, so what are the number of combinations that you'll get? 1, 2, 3, and 4 are there. What is 2 power 4? 2 power 4.
16.
16 means starting with 0 and ending with 15. So simply what I've did is this is nothing but 0 equivalent. This is 1 equivalent. This is 2. I've written so on till 15. Okay, now what you have to do is you try to compare this bit. So what is 0, 0? 0, 0, what is the equivalent? 0. 0, 0 equivalent is again 0. Are they equal or greater than or less than?
Equal.
So here you'll get A equal to B as 1. In the same way you try to compare, but comparison should be done 2 bits at a time. See here this 0, 0 is nothing but 0 and 0, 1 is nothing but 1. So here A is 0, B is 1. Can you tell me is it greater than or less than or equal to?
A less than B.
A less than B. So that's the reason A less than B will be 1. Simultaneously you try to compare for all the remaining positions also. Okay, once if you fill this particular truth table, you try to do the K-map. Okay, you try to do the K-map so that you will get 3 Boolean expressions, one for less than, for greater than, and for equal to. Okay, so once if you get that particular K-map directly by using the data flow modeling also you can write the code. And this might look a bit complex for you, 4-bit comparison. So can anyone tell me what is 4-bit comparison? 4-bit. 4-bit comparison means A will have like this, like A3, A2, A1, A0. B will have B3, B2, B1, and B0. Okay, in this way we are trying to compare. Look here.
సార్
Yeah.
ఈ సబ్జెక్ట్కి కే మ్యాప్ ఇప్పుడు మళ్ళీ నేర్చుకోవాలంటే ఉందా లైక్ జనరల్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్లా చెప్తున్నారా?
Without understanding digital electronics and K-map, you can't write even a single Verilog code. Okay, all this subject entirely depends upon digital electronics. That's the reason I'm giving you this task. Okay, as I've already learned all these concepts in your HTLD, now the simple thing that you have to learn here is only how to write the Verilog code. So for that you need to learn the syntax. In your external theory paper also, most of the paper will be writing the Verilog codes only. So
సార్
if
ల్యాబ్ ఉందా ఈ సబ్జెక్ట్కి?
Yeah, lab is also there.
Yeah.
See, A can have 4-bit. Similarly, B can have 4-bit. So comparison should be done here. So 4 zeros is nothing but equivalent 0. 4 zeros is nothing but equivalent 0. So I've written it here. So 0 equal to 0. So that's the reason here we'll get 1. Similarly, all 4 zeros means it is 0. So 0001 is nothing but 1. Now you tell me less than or equal to, what is this? A is
A
0,
less
B is
than
1.
B.
So A less than B. So that's the reason here you'll get 1. So how many is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2 power 8. So different combinations I filled it. See here, like this you'll get different combinations. So first, right from the basics, you try to understand. So once if you understand this particular truth table, writing code is very easy. Okay, so the important concept is you need to know like how I am writing this particular truth table. Okay, so first try to fill this truth table, and based on that you can do greater than, less than, and equal to. Simple comparison I'm doing. I'll share this particular sheet also with you. Better you try to analyze this and get back to me if you're having any doubts, or else you can ask Abhiram also, because he has experimented by using different styles, and he tried with for loop as well, like by using generate block also he tried.
So can we get that PPT
Which
of
one, Abhiram?
comparator? Yes.
Yeah, I'll upload. So Jyotika and Abhiram, you share me your particular slides with me so that I can upload it in Teams. Done. Any more queries? So one of the important question. In the next session, Gurudev will explain about BCD adder, like 1-bit and 2-bit.
Execute this to PR,
Sir.
or it's like okay na PPT.